When people talk about ghost legends from the Philippines, they're not just talking about one kind of haunting. In Filipino folklore, the supernatural world is crowded. There are sorrowful ghosts, vengeful apparitions, flesh-eating night creatures, trickster beings in the trees, spirits in mounds of earth, and monsters that cry like babies. What makes Philippine folklore so haunting is that these stories are not just about fear. They are about grief, respect, the danger of the night, and the idea that the world of the living is always brushing against the world of spirits. Before we dive into these 7 bizarre legends, hit that like button and subscribe. You don't want to miss our next deep dive into the unexplained. Let's go. Let's start with perhaps the most recognizable ghost of all, the White Lady. In the Philippines, the White Lady is the image many people picture. She is usually seen wearing a white dress, sometimes with long black hair, sometimes with a bloody or disfigured face. One of the most famous versions is the White Lady of Balete Drive in Quezon City. People have told many versions of her story. In some tellings, she was a woman attacked during wartime. In others, she was the victim of a hit and run, or a student. The details change, but the image stays the same. A woman in white appearing to motorists at night. She suddenly appears in the rearview mirror or the backseat of a taxi. That's what makes her legend powerful. She is not one fixed story. She is a whole cluster of fears: violence against women, lonely roads, nighttime travel, and the uneasy sense that some deaths do not stay buried. Balete trees are treated with special fear and respect. But the White Lady is only one part of a much larger supernatural tradition. In the Philippines, the aswang is famous. And that's important because the aswang is not just one monster. It's a broad label covering multiple kinds of beings. In popular imagination, the aswang has become almost the signature horror figure of the Philippines. It adapts and shifts. Depending on the region, it may be a ghoul, a shapeshifter, a viscera sucker, an eater of corpses, or a hunter of the sick. In other words, aswang refers to a whole family of creatures. That flexibility is why the legend has stayed alive. One of the most terrifying creatures is the manananggal. By day, she looks like an ordinary, even beautiful woman. But at night, she transforms. Her upper body separates from her lower body, wings sprout, and she flies into the darkness. She is known for hunting pregnant women and unborn children. The image is unforgettable: a woman split in half, drifting above the rooftops while the rest of the town sleeps. People defend themselves with salt, ash, and garlic. The manananggal is frightening because she turns the familiar into the monstrous, the trusted neighbor, or beautiful stranger. Then there is the tiyanak, one of the most disturbing legends because it weaponizes the sound of a crying baby. In many tellings, the tiyanak appears as an abandoned infant left alone in the dark. Someone hears the crying. But the baby is not a baby at all. Once picked up, it transforms into something ancient, deceptive, or inhuman. It lures compassion and then punishes it. That is what makes the tiyanak so unsettling. It turns rescue into a trap. Another famous being is the kapre. It is a towering, dark, tree-dwelling giant associated with old trees, often shown smoking a cigar and sitting high among the branches, watching people below. It can be mischievous. Sometimes it causes travelers to wander in circles. What makes the legend powerful is its scale: a watcher in the trees, a giant in the tree line, a presence in the dark leaves. It turns the natural world into something aware. The tikbalang is a horse-like being, half human and half horse. It is a supernatural trickster. It misleads travelers, causing them to become disoriented and unable to find their way even in familiar places. The tikbalang embodies the fear of losing control. Suddenly, nothing looks right, as if the land itself has turned. The only way to break free is to reverse your clothing or ask permission from the unseen world. Then there is the Nuno Sapunso, the old man of the mound. This legend is tied to etiquette and respect. The Nuno is an elderly being living in mounds. A common habit is to say "tabi tabi po" when passing by. If you offend the Nuno, you may become ill. It reflects a worldview in which the land is inhabited. Courtesy matters, and the invisible world expects acknowledgement. It's about living in harmony with the land. Philippine folklore preserves older spiritual ideas while also showing the effects of colonization. Spanish rule tried to reinterpret indigenous spirits as demons, but the stories survived and adapted. In Philippine folklore, the supernatural is never far. Now, pick your flavor: maritime mysteries, haunted prisons, or cryptids.